Bourbon Barkeep, we have a Whiskey Tube favorite, Booker's 2025-01. Now you have Barry's batch. This is named after Barry Barish, who was the CEO over at Jim Beam Distilling. Now, diving into some of the specs for Barry's batch here, we have 7 years, 2 months, 4 days old. This is clocking in at 125.7 proof. Let's get this on the nose, see if this Booker's batch is a buy. You're always going to have that Jim Beam nuttiness. I don't think I've had a Booker's to where it wasn't there. It's just how pronounced nuttiness. I feel like this goes more into maybe like a honey roasted peanut. So that peanut a little sweeter, more of like a toffee, like a deeper sweetness. So far, pretty good. It's kind of a typical Booker's nose in a good way. Heavy cinnamon, you got some nutmeg. Those baking spices are on the forefront of the nose. Let's get on the palate, see what we got. Oh, she's sweet. And we're going drying. Sweetness lasts a long time. Butterscotch, brown sugars, baking spices continue. Peanut continues, even that honey roasted peanut continues. I feel like there's just a sweetness to that nuttiness to it. It's good. Extremely drying. Second sip's delightful. It still just absolutely zaps my tongue in dryness, which is not awesome. But the flavors that are there, I do enjoy. There's a nice, rich sweetness to it. That honey roasted peanut, that vanilla custard. Oak is pretty prevalent, especially for it only being 7 years old. Pretty oak forward on this batch. The dryness with that spice kind of leads me down more of like a cinnamon bark or a cinnamon stick. The saltiness on the finish, it does bring me into like a dark chocolate. Jimmy's batch won by a very slim margin over Masters Distiller for Booker of the Year 2024. I think that fruit, I get a touch of orange coming out here, a little more chocolate on the nose. Let's get it on the palate. It's hotter, kind of in a good way. Like that hug, I think may be better. And it doesn't have the dryness that berries bring into the table. That dryness is pretty intense. Man, that rich sweetness. You still got that beam nuttiness in there. Those deep brown sugars, those baking spices. It's such a good batch. All right, let's go back to Barry. Barry takes it on the nose. A little darker on Jimmy's. This one getting a little sweeter. That butterscotch kind of ramping up here. All right, let's see. It's good. It's rich. If it just didn't have that just absolute drying effect of cinnamon bark, and that sea salt, dark chocolate, and it just absolutely zaps the entire tongue, not even the middle. That's the only drawback, or this would be extremely close, if not Barry maybe having a notch up on it. I like everything else about it. The dryingness, it's gonna hold it back just a touch, but overall I still think it's a great pour. We'll go 81. It doesn't punch above 100, but I definitely get my money's worth.